Let's bring it back home now. Let's bring in our political analyst, Larry Gerston. Larry, your initial thoughts here. Obviously, a very measured and civil President Trump by design. Did that help him get some undecided voters here?
Look, there were two debates in a sense. One debate was, what have you done? What has Trump done? What has Biden done when he was vice president? The second debate is, what are you going to do? If you look at the first debate, well, you know, you can each had something to say about what they've done. But the real difference, Raj, was what are you going to do? What are you going to do? How are you going to cope with COVID? Well, you know what? We have to live with it. The vice president asked a question, the president, we have to live with it. I don't think most people are happy with that. So that's a future type of thing. What are you going to do about health care? Biden went on ad nauseum, some might say, with a very detailed plan that he just read out. The president said, I'm going to come up with a wonderful plan that people will like. So if you like the idea of leaving the door open, okay. But if you're looking for substance, I think you have to give that to Biden. And as far as the what have you done thing, we can call that a draw, I think. They both had things to say about what they've done and what the other hasn't done.
All right, Larry, let's take a closer look at some of that substance and some of the things that were said tonight. I want you to listen to this exchange between Mr. Biden and the president, where the president makes the assertion that he has done more for the black community than any other president, with the exception of Abraham Lincoln.
I am the least racist person. I can't even see the audience because it's so dark, but I don't care who's in the audience. I'm the least racist person in this room.
Okay, Vice President Biden, let me ask you very quickly, and then I have a follow-up question for you.
Abraham Lincoln here is one of the most racist presidents we've had in modern history. He pours fuel on every single racist fire. Every single one. Started off his campaign coming down the escalator saying he's going to get rid of those Mexican rapists. He's banned Muslims because they're Muslims. He has moved around and made everything worse across the board. He says about the poor boys, last time we were on stage here, he said, I told them to stand down and stand ready. Come on. This guy has a dog whistle about as big as a foghorn.
President Trump, I'm going to give you 10 seconds to respond, and then I have a follow-up.
No, he made a reference to Abraham Lincoln. Where did that come in? I mean,
you said you're Abraham Lincoln.
No, where did that? No.
You said,
I said not since Abraham Lincoln has anybody done what I've done for the black community.
And I'm saying,
I didn't say I'm Abraham Lincoln. I said not since Abraham Lincoln has anybody done what I've done for the black community. Now, you have done nothing other than the crime bill, which put tens of thousands of black men, mostly, in jail.
All right, let me
you know
ask
they remember
Vice
it
President
because
Biden
if you look at what's happening with the voting right now,
let me ask
they
Vice
remember
President
that
Biden
you treated them very, very badly.
All right, Larry, come in here. So Biden conceded some issues with that crime bill, but then when it comes to the president talking about that he's done more for the black community, well, historians might argue with that when you talk about the Voting Rights Act, the Fair Housing Act, the Civil Rights Act.
Yeah, and look, the president has a point or two to make when he talked about giving more money to black colleges and things like that. Okay, let's give him his due there. But on the other hand, the vice president pointed out really a series of behaviors by the president going all the way back to the Central Park Five. In other words, what the vice president was saying is it's endemic. I think that was a tough one for the president to win on, especially if he's hanging it all on a bill from 35 years ago that the president said, frankly, looking back at it, there were some mistakes. I don't think that's going to wash too well in the long run for the president.
A big point of tonight was just how we're dealing with the coronavirus in terms of the economy. Let's listen in on this exchange regarding COVID-19.
What I would say is I'm going to shut down the virus, not the country. It's his ineptitude that caused the country to have to shut down in large part. Why businesses have gone under, why schools are closed, why so many people have lost their living, and why they're concerned.
His Democrat governors, Cuomo in New York, you look at what's going on in California, you look at Pennsylvania, North Carolina, Democrats all, they're shut down so tight and they're dying. They're dying. And he supports all these people. All he talks about is shutdowns. No, we're not going to shut down.
Larry, this was interesting because it really gave people watching a clear path here. I want to go this way or that way regarding both candidates here. That was valuable.
Yeah, two things here. The first is whether this COVID-19 is behind us or we're still dealing with it. The president says we're dealing with it. It's over. The vice president said, no, it's very much a part of us. 1,000 people dying a day now, 70,000 new cases. So people have to decide, is it behind us or is it still front and present? The other part of it is dealing with the economy. The president said we can't shut down, and I think that's a really valid point. People don't want to shut down anymore. That's part of the fatigue out of this whole thing. The vice president is saying we don't have to shut down. We just have to understand and deal with the virus first so that the economy can return. One is saying, let's do it now. The other is saying we got to pick the order. Again, the voters have a choice here.
Larry, healthcare always plays a pivotal role in every election, but none so more than in this election when we're in the midst of this pandemic. Let's hear what the candidates had to say about that.
He's already cost the American people, because of his terrible handling of the COVID virus and the economic spillover, 10 million people have lost their private insurance. And he wants to take away 22 million more people who have it under Obamacare, and over 110 million people with pre-existing conditions. And all the people from COVID are going to have pre-existing conditions. What are they going to do?
He wants socialized medicine, and it's not that he wants it. His vice president, I mean, she is more liberal than Bernie Sanders and wants it even more. Bernie Sanders wants it. The Democrats want it. You're going to have socialized medicine.
Obviously, a reference there to California's Kamala Harris when the president's saying he's going to have socialized medicine. Biden has said that he's not in favor of Medicare for all, but for a public option. What did you hear in that exchange that will resonate with the American people?
I think, to me, the most important aspect of this whole thing, other than COVID, was on health care. Biden laid out that plan. His plan, now, you may not like it, you may like it, I don't know, but the point is he has planned out what he would do about health care, which is critical to so many Americans because it overlaps with COVID, actually. The president said, I'm going to come up with the best health care plan you could ever imagine. I got rid of the mandate. We got rid of that, and I'm going to come up with everything else. Everything else to be protected, pre-existing conditions. Again, you've got somebody who said, here's what I'm going to do, and the other person who says, well, trust me, trust me. And the question is, after 4 years, whether the public trusts this president or whether the public does not. And in that sense, the debate was a referendum on what one promises in detail, and the other says, I'll make it better.
Larry, final 15 seconds. Who gained the most tonight?
Actually, I think the debate was fairly even. If I had to gauge, I would say the vice president had the edge, Vice President Biden. He had his weak moments, no doubt about that. I thought the president was much better tonight in terms of dealing with substance, but I'm not so sure by fostering all the blame that he did, much of it just without merit, that's going to win him points. I don't think so. But yes, it was a much better debate. And kudos goes to the moderator as well as the two participants.
We could actually hear everyone tonight. Larry, thank you for your insight.